To celebrate the release of the LEGO Simpsons Krusty Burger, I have designed the next LEGO Simpsons set that I would like to see sometime in the near future, though I do have my doubts, and that is Moe's Tavern. And the reason why I say I have my doubts with this Moe's Tavern actually becoming an official LEGO set is simply because it is a bar. Like, it is focused on a bar. And LEGO and alcohol aren't necessarily, they don't go together too well, a kid's toy and alcohol. So much so that the LEGO Dimensions video game had a LEGO set, a Simpsons level pack set, and on the top of that box art, we had Homer with a Buzz Cola. Like, we all know that Homer drinks Duff, he doesn't drink Buzz Cola. That would be more of a Bart thing. However, because LEGO is more against alcohol-based references, they wanted to avoid including Duff on the box. And to further prove my point, if you were to play that LEGO Dimensions video game inside the Simpsons Springfield level, you would notice that Moe's Tavern is missing from the map, despite it being the next most iconic building after the Simpsons house. The thing that gives me hope is how LEGO has been introducing alcohol references within other LEGO sets. And an example of this would be with the Tudor Corner modular, which had a bar on the first floor of the modular. And then there's also been the instance of inside the Orient Express, which there's been a bar placed inside one of the passenger cars. The Dungeons & Dragons set, which had a bar right out in the open. I see these LEGO sets existing because they follow one of LEGO's guidelines on ideas, stating that you cannot include alcohol in any present-day situation. Notice the use of the word present, meaning if the set takes place in the past or future, including alcohol is acceptable. And all three of the LEGO sets I mentioned are taking place in the past. The modular buildings have always had a vintage feel to them, Orient Express has been created in 1883, and the Dungeons & Dragons set is simply based on medieval times. This is particularly noticeable with Mos Eisley's Cantina from Star Wars, which is as well from long ago. And so we have had a handful of playsets, and even an Ultimate Collector Series model, despite it being quite obviously and openly a bar. However, what surprises me is the fact that it goes even further than this. We have seen an alcohol reference within Thor's house, which very clearly has LEGO studs that represent beer. Bro Thor's house takes place during the events of Avengers Endgame, which was set in present day. Therefore, it broke the guideline that LEGO has set for themselves. And that is more oriented towards being a kid's toy, which really does push the boundaries of what is possible with LEGO in terms of the references that they can include. It is interesting because where do you draw the line exactly of what is considered for more adult themes and they cannot include, and what can they include here? Maybe if they hide the beer well enough, it is then considered okay. Maybe if LEGO is to make this a LEGO set, they would replace all of the beer, all of the Duff beer with soda or something like that, and then rename the LEGO set instead of Moe's Tavern, you would just name it Moe's. Maybe then LEGO can get away with releasing this LEGO Simpsons Moe's Tavern and, have a Moe's Tavern without really very openly saying that this is a tavern. Or maybe they can make this LEGO set styled under an older episode of The Simpsons, passing it as if it were to exist during the 1990s, or in simpler terms, the past. After all, since the LEGO Simpsons Krusty Burger was under the 18+ age rating, logically thinking, Moe's Tavern would too be 18+, meaning the set would be naturally targeted towards the adults welcome theme. And so what is this whole discussion leading up to? Worst case scenario, if LEGO does not make a LEGO Moe's Tavern because maybe it is too adult-oriented for them, I have made instructions on how to build my custom Moe's Tavern, which is as close as you'll get to an actual LEGO Moe's Tavern aesthetic. I cannot place it onto ideas because LEGO is currently using the license to sell the Krusty Burger, and more so I feel like there's also the alcohol aspects. So if you guys are interested in building your own Moe's Tavern, you can do that with this video here. I will also try and include the parts list for this LEGO set down in the description below, to where you can click it, download it, import it into Bricklink, and then order all of the parts very easily from there. Bricklink is currently telling me that the set is going to be $257 USD, which is a bit more than I would have ultimately liked it to be. I would have liked the set to be more closer to the price of the Krusty Burger, being $210. However, because some of the parts are a little bit more rare, keep that in mind. But regardless, I feel like with any custom LEGO sets, that is really the price that you're going to be paying for making a custom LEGO creation. Speaking of the parts, the set includes 2,109 pieces, which is more in line with the Simpsons house and Quickie Mart, and not so much with the Krusty Burger, which has like 300 less pieces than what it really should have to give it to that full potential of being a Krusty Burger, but we're not going to talk about that. Instead, this is like the more proper and finalized version of Moe's Tavern. Regarding the stickers that I've included within this LEGO set, I didn't do any graphic design work, and for the parts that you guys could see that are using stickers, I've just pulled the first picture from the internet that I found and placed it onto the tiles that needed the necessary decals. And so, because of that, the stickers that I used weren't made for this LEGO set, and if you guys are too going to use the same stickers that I used, be ready to modify the stickers to properly fit onto the LEGO pieces, because they are very much likely not going to be the necessary dimensions. However, to those who just don't want to use stickers, I have tried to keep them at an all-time low, so even if you don't include any of the stickers, the set should still look fairly good without them. And now finally, we are getting to Moe's Tavern itself. I've drawn inspiration from the Simpsons house, Quickie Mart, and Krusty Burger to ultimately compile what you guys can see right here. I've also drawn inspiration from Ben Builds Lego with his modular approach to Moe's Tavern, which is different, but I've liked some of the pieces that he used for certain little elements of the build, and I thought it really complemented what I had going on with this model. And the whole idea of Moe's Tavern I've tried to integrate with as many little details and references from the show as possible, both in the interior and exterior, and I hope fans of The Simpsons will very much appreciate all of those little touches within the build. The set has a very similar opening dollhouse style function like we've seen with The Simpsons house, and again, it just keeps all of the same type of basic aesthetics. And now once you open up the set, you now have access over into all of the small details that I've integrated into it, such as the Mount Lushmore in the back of the model. We have the iconic telephone.
Moe's Tavern.
Is Mr. Freely there?
Oh.
Freely. First initial is IP.
Hold on, I'll check. Is IP Freely here? Hey, everybody, IP Freely!
And I don't want to spoil too much of the interior details just now, but once you build the set, you can then appreciate a lot more of what the set has to offer. As goes for the vehicle that I've included with the build, it is the Duff Partymobile, which is something so one-off and obscure that it just works in this type of an instance. I feel like the most obvious choice was to include Homer's pink sedan again, but with the Krusty Burger already including Homer's pink sedan, yes, it was disguised as a clown car, but regardless, it was Homer's pink sedan. And if LEGO were to release another Simpsons house, I'm sure that would have another Homer's pink sedan in it. And then with the power plants, maybe there you would have another Homer's pink sedan. So you guys can see where the whole fact that Homer's pink sedan would be a little bit too common amongst these LEGO sets, and with getting only one LEGO Simpsons set a year, I think it is best to differentiate having Homer's pink sedan or some obscure vehicle. And coincidentally, by excluding Homer's car, I have created yet another reference to one of the Simpson episodes, being when Barney lost Homer's car in New York. On top of the fact that you're also getting this obscure vehicle, you also have a reason to include Duffman. And Duffman and this Partymobile just pair perfectly, but now, thinking beyond this, if LEGO is to make a third LEGO CMF minifigure series, Duffman doesn't have to be part of that third minifigure series, and that space that would be occupied otherwise by Duffman can be occupied by another LEGO minifigure. Therefore, we can have another LEGO minifigure in that third LEGO minifigure series that doesn't have to be Duffman there, that could be someone completely different, and we can have Duffman here, which gives us one more minifigure to add to our Springfield display. But looking at the Partymobile itself, it can be opened up from the roof and also from the side. So now you have much greater access into getting the minifigures in and out of the build. The interior has more of a disco type design because it is a Partymobile. You have the disco-like floor, a speaker, and some Duff on the shelf, which it's very fitting. The minifigures that are included in this LEGO set are the most abstract part of it, to where I have just thrown together the most closest resemblance of these characters that I wanted to include with the parts that were available in Bricklink Studio. So most of the parts that are needed in the necessary colors do not exist, and on top of that, the molds for the minifigures, like the heads, also do not exist. Again, these are just proof of concept minifigures, and you can't necessarily build them in real life. But if LEGO is to make this into an official set, that is a different story. Regardless, I've chosen to include the most iconic characters that are featured within Moe's Tavern, being Lenny, Carl, Barney Gumble, Homer, Guy Incognito, which I think would be a very nice little reference to one of the Simpson episodes. Most obviously, you have the inclusion of Moe Sislak, and also Duffman, which put together is really like the ultimate collection of minifigures. Honorable mentions would be Sam and Larry, who are always in the background of Moe's Tavern and say very few things within the show. So I feel like because of that, if this were to have been an actual LEGO set, they wouldn't be counted as additional minifigures for this LEGO set. But who knows, maybe LEGO would go ahead and include these two minifigures just for them being always present in the show. And there you have it, guys, my LEGO custom Moe's Tavern. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would drop a like and subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new, it would really go a long way and support the channel. But with all of that being considered, I'll leave it to you guys with the construction of Moe's Tavern.
you.